Hi, guys. My name is Dr. Jeff Garofalo, and I'm a high performance chiropractor, meaning I have been a chiropractor and a business owner for 17 years. And I'm high performance in the way I think, in the way I act, in the way I do everything with myself and my family. As a matter of fact, this video is shot for Fox Motors Club. Okay, it's shot for Fox Motors Club for U15 boys AAA hockey. But really, if other people see it like parents or juniors players or college players or even professionals, I'm okay with that. But I was asked to shoot this for the U15 Fox Motors AAA Hockey Club. And I want to tell you a little bit about myself and then get into what we're talking about today. So today's topic is high performance output for the hockey player. And I'm a 17-year professional chiropractor, and I'm high performance, which means I've had multiple businesses over the last 17 years. And I think of myself just like a high performance athlete. So I want to think correctly, nutrition correctly, and I want to keep my body in a high level so that I can keep doing what I do in life and business for as long as I can. Just like a professional athlete, I'm a professional. I get paid for what I do. I'm not an amateur. And as a professional athlete, hockey player, you want to be the best you possibly can. So I've always looked at myself in business as a pro athlete and always tried to think mentally, physically, nutritionally, how am I going to keep myself doing what I do at the highest level possible? I've given over 370,000 chiropractic adjustments. So it's got to be mental, it's got to be physical, it's got to be nutritional. And these are the things my wife and I have brought into our household to our kids. So a couple weeks ago, I was asked by a parent about some nutritional stuff and things like that. And I said, you know what, I'll put a video together. And we want to talk about high performance output. And when I talk about high performance output, we really think about three things. And I'm going to touch on two of those to a small extent and then one at a larger extent. So we think of the mental side of output. We think of the mental side. And as a youth hockey player moving into juniors and college and then the pros, the difference is in between the ears. How you think about what you do every single day. And at a high level at U15, at AAA hockey, you're going to want to start thinking differently, okay? If you just are here to have the fun part and not the competition at a high level, and you don't have bigger goals, then you're going to start to slide out. And that's not a problem. You'll be in high school, you'll be somewhere else, and that's cool. But this really is a video for those that want to go to the next level. You have to start thinking differently. You have to start thinking at a higher level. At 15, you have to start watching how you think, watching who you're talking to, watching the words that come out of your mouth about prior games or prior shifts. So you got to keep everything positive. You got to start supporting each other. You got to start thinking differently. You got to start thinking, how do I take care of myself to get to the next level? What do I do physically? What am I doing all week long, even if I don't have practice or I don't have a game this weekend? What am I doing for the long season? What am I doing nutritionally? And how are you going to respond to different games or different scenarios? And so today I want to talk about that mental aspect, and real brief, you got to think differently. And this is part of what the video is about. I'll come back to the physical aspect. I'm going to finish up with chiropractic, but the bigger aspect that I want to talk about, that I was asked to talk about, is nutrition. And so when we talk about nutrition, we really think of a couple things. We think of high performance. How do we, number one, get ourselves through a long season? Number two, how do we get ourselves through each shift? How do we get ourselves through the middle of the second and the third period? How do we last when other teams won't? And that's the thinking aspect, and that's the nutrition aspect. As parents, we've all seen it in the stands. As a coach, you might have seen it. Somewhere around some period, the entire team goes to sleep. And so there's ways to prevent that. Yes, there's a mental energy momentum shift that happens, and that's the mental side of coaching, getting the kids through that. But there is also a nutritional component to the kids just went to sleep, or now they're young adults and the team just went to sleep. That could be a nutritional factor. That's one of the things I want to address. So high performance output, the entire game, your entire shift, the entire season. We want to talk about preventing inflammation, because inflammation, high levels of inflammation, are going to cause pain. It's going to hurt your performance. It's going to cause injury. We're going to talk about recovery. And I don't just mean from an injury, I mean from your shift. How is your body recovering shift to shift, game to game, practice to practice? How are you actively recovering? And then, like I said, performance overall compared to how other teams are going to do this. So let's jump in. Yes, I have some notes that I want to talk about. And so let's talk about the massive nutritional side, because there are three components to nutrition that I want to talk about as a baseline. And those nutritional components are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Three key ingredients, the base, the structure, the foundation for your house, okay? Three key ingredients, the structure, the foundation of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And how you put these together during the season, after the season, before games, during the week, you have to start thinking mentally, how do we put these together for the long haul if you want to go to the next level? So let's address proteins. What are proteins? And I'm going to make this video super simple. Again, I've been 17 years as a chiropractor, high performance between chiropractic and nutrition. Been doing it for 17 years, but I'm going to make this super simple. And then if there's any questions, you can email me. I'll give that information at the end. So a protein is a building block to muscles, building block to your strength, building block to your energy, building block to recovery. If you're out on the shift and you're pushing in your stride, you're breaking down muscle and you need to recover on the bench. So proteins are those building blocks that help you recover shift to shift while you're making those strides. You get bumped up against the wall, the boards. Now you're taking checks. You get a hit in the center ice. Now it's physical impact. That physical impact is going to affect muscles, which affects your energy. And so we want to talk about the building blocks, okay? The building blocks, how do we rebuild? And so major levels of protein that you want to think about are good sources of protein. Good sources of protein are going to be your beef, your steak, your chicken, your turkey, your eggs, your veal, your lamb, okay? So these are good sources of protein, but not all protein is made the same. So what we teach in our household and what we practice is we want to make sure that our meats are from healthy sources. We want to go organic. Why? Because we want to prevent the hormones from being put in the meats. Because when hormones are put in the beef and the turkey and the chickens, when hormones are put in, those hormones are going to be passed on to your child. About 2004, I started getting into female health and I started doing all this research. And there was a Time magazine article that came out and said, why are 9 and 10-year-old girls growing breasts and having periods? And what they discovered was all the hormones, the growth factors, the hormones, the estrogen, progesterone that are being put in meat are being passed on to you and your child. So really, when it comes down to beef and meat and chicken and turkey and eggs, in our household, we go organic. We want to know where it's coming from. We go organic. And we don't want any hormones in to be passed on to you. So it is very important that every meal your child has, your child, if you're getting to the next level, that you have a very good source of protein, okay? A very good source of protein on that plate, okay? And so in just a moment, I'll give you some samples of meals and things like that. But first, we'll talk about protein. So your child, if you're a juniors player, a college player, pro player, you got to have a real good source of protein, meat, because that protein will be the building blocks. Now, for those that are vegetarians, it's going to be kind of difficult, but you've got to get your meat through beans and other sources like vegetables. But again, if you're not a vegetarian, you got to have a good source, a healthy source of meat at every meal, or if it's breakfast, we'll talk about eggs, okay? So proteins are number one, okay? Good source of protein. Number two, let's talk about carbohydrates, because there's a lot of misconception about carbohydrates. They're good, they're bad. Really, let's keep this as simple as possible. Carbohydrates in the bloodstream turn into sugar. That's really what carbohydrates do, and that's the factor we want to talk about. Bad sugar, simple sugars lead to inflammation in the body. It leads to a breakdown of the immune system. A teaspoon of sugar will paralyze the immune system for up to 6 hours. So if you're putting in the wrong carbohydrates, the simple carbohydrates, which I'll give you a list in a moment, think about this. You're killing your immune system for up to 6 hours. You take a hit, you break down some muscle. The immune system is there to rebuild you. How's it ever going to work? So you're not going to be able to rebuild the muscle mass for your next game, for the middle of the season. Injuries start to happen because muscles weaken. So we want to talk about good carbohydrates. But first, I want to give you a list of simple carbohydrates that turn into sugar. Sugar in the bloodstream think of a graph that goes up and down, okay? I'm not going to get into the science behind it. If you want more information, we could talk another time. This is a simple video. But when you put in simple carbohydrates, your blood sugar goes up and you have all this energy. I can remember being in the locker room when my son was Squirt and Mite and Pee-wee, and listening to parents and watching parents give their kids candy bars and Twizzlers and fruit juices, all because they knew that they could spike their energy. The problem is, you watched it in the middle of a period, the kids crashed because a simple sugar rises blood sugar quickly and then drops blood sugar just as quickly, and you're going to see those kids start to crash hard. So simple sugars we don't want. What's a simple sugar that you're going to wind up eating during the week or game day? So candy. You do not want to have candy before a game. It's really the worst thing you can do. You get a short burst of energy, but your blood sugar is going to tank. You're going to lower your immune system. You're going to weaken your muscles, and your energy is going to be shot. That is not something you want to do at all before a game. Candy bars are not good. Pop-Tarts. Lots of kids will have Pop-Tarts for breakfast or cereal. Okay, Pop-Tarts or cereal. Those are white carbohydrates, white, pasta, rice. This is white. This is simple sugars, which give you a short-term spike and then drop your blood sugar for long-term exhaustion, lower the immune system. You're not going to heal. It's not going to be good for future. So no Pop-Tarts. We don't want to do cereal in the morning. Cereal is a simple carb. Another one would be high-sugar bars. These breakfast bars, these. If you look at the sugars, they're high in sugar. A cereal bar, a breakfast bar, they're super high in sugar. You want to look at the sugars in what you're giving your kids or what you yourself are responsible for eating. You don't want any of these cereal bars, okay? Believe it or not, we go to lots of hotels, as you know. If you've played hockey, you're a parent, or again, you're playing hockey, you go to a lot of hotels, and a lot of kids or parents will have breakfast. They'll have eggs, which is great, and then there's the fruit bar. And then what they'll do is they'll grab melon, green melon, orange melon, so they'll grab watermelon, they'll grab the melons. And believe it or not, even though fruit is good for you, melons, like the orange melon, the cantaloupe, or the muskmelon, or the watermelon, is high in sugar, which will cause you to crash. So that's not something you want to do game day or in the morning before or at lunch or at dinner. You don't want to do that. That's like an off day. You can do melons. It's good for you, but the sugars are too simple. So we don't want melons, okay? So breads, any kind of, I'm going to have an egg sandwich on a roll or a bagel or white bread. I'm going to do peanut butter on white bread. So the peanut butter has sugar, and the white bread, the rolls, the bagels have sugar. It's simple. They're going to turn into sugar. They're going to spike you an hour before the game, and then period 1, period 2, and we've seen this, period 2, period 3, kids are starting to crash because they're putting in the simple carbohydrates for breakfast. So we don't want to do that, okay? The pastas or the rice, again, we don't want to do that before a game either. I know it's a thing you watch some NHL guys, they do the pasta beforehand, or these. That's not what we want. That's long distance runners. That's not what you're here for, okay? So you don't want to do any of the white pastas or white rice. During the game, before the game, you see all the commercials of all the professional athletes doing Gatorade or vitamin water. And believe it or not, Gatorade has a lot of sugar in it. So it's not going to help your performance during the game or during the season. So it's got a lot of sugar. So you're going to spike it and then tank it. Even vitamin water. We tend to use what's called vitamin water zero because there's zero sugar, but regular vitamin water is going to have sugar in it that's going to spike you up and then crash you down. So what kind of carbohydrates do we want? What's good? Because believe it or not, we want carbohydrates because carbohydrates are going to be two sources. Complex carbohydrates are going to help you burn energy longer and also give you the short burst you need for your 45 to 60-second shift. So some great carbohydrates are broccoli, peppers, green vegetables, spinach, salads, romaine, multi-variation salads, not iceberg. Iceberg has no nutritional value, so it's going to offer you nothing, but salads, okay? Complex carbohydrate drinks that we're starting to work with our son in between periods that are complex carbs. They're going to help you burn the entire game, but also give you that short burst energy through the game, okay? So We want to do complex carbs at a breakfast, at a lunch, at a dinner. You want good green vegetables. Green vegetables are going to be complex, meaning they're carbohydrates and they turn into sugar, but they turn into sugar slowly. So you do a slow rise in your sugar, slow hours, and then a slow burn down. So you're not going to hit the second and third period and be like, I'm exhausted because that sugar spikes down. You're going to have your baseline energy through the game because of your great proteins. So you're going to be able to have great energy because of your great proteins. Second layer is going to be your great complex carbohydrate, going to give you energy, but also the complex carbohydrates, when you go to take off and you got a 60-second shift, you're also going to burn those complex carbohydrates, which is going to help you, boom, use that short burst, but then you get back on the bench. And because you've had great protein and great carbohydrates, you're able to actually recover quickly. Your body's able to recover quickly. And then the last piece, actually one of the most important pieces for your entire length of your season, as well as length of the game, energy and recovery wise, are good fats. Yeah, there was this whole thing years ago. Fats cause heart disease. Fats cause this. Fats cause, believe it or not, bad fats cause heart disease. Bad fats cause cancer. Bad fats cause you to lose energy. So when you go before a game or after a game and you're getting fried food, you're getting, some things that are deep fried, French fries, onion rings, fried chicken. The fried is called a trans fatty acid. Trans meaning the fat molecule crosses. Bad. What we're talking about is a cis or the bad is a cis meaning same. The good is a trans fatty acid. Omega 3 fatty acid. Okay, omega 3 fatty acid. I have to step back. Trans fatty acids are no good. Cis fatty acids are good. So we want to do omega 3 fatty acids. Omega 3 fatty acids. Fat, good fat will burn slow, and that'll help keep you energy filled the entire season. Plus, good fat will reduce the amount of inflammation in your body, muscles, organs, heart, and it'll lower inflammation levels and it boosts the immune system. So it'll actually help you recover through the entire season, game after game after game. So if we look at how we're going to have our energy, we're going to start with a great protein. We're going to build on a great complex carbohydrate, and then we're going to put on an awesome fat. And these three layers are going to help you from in periods, in games, in the entire season, have the high performance advantage that other teams might not be looking at. Your energy is going to be up there. So we won't see this drop in energy. If it's a drop in energy, it's really coming from a mental momentum swing, and that's where coaching comes in. But you're not going to see your energy go, man, I just feel tired. You might go, man, I feel like we shifted momentum, but you're not going to have an exhausted feeling. You'll get off from shift to shift and you'll be pumping. You'll have energy the entire game. So what are some good fats? We said omega 3 fatty acids. Please forgive me. I said trans was good, but trans fatty acids are your fried foods, not good. You don't want fried foods. Cis means the same side fatty acid. I won't bore you with that. But what are some good fats that we want to use? Almond milk. Coconut milk, okay? Avocado, guacamole, avocado. You'll see we use tons of guacamole, tons of avocado. Coconut oil, cooking with coconut oil, putting coconut oil in the shakes. Real butter. I don't mean store-bought, hormone-filled. I mean real butter that's not homogenized, not pasteurized, real butter, okay? Olive oil. And believe it or not, animal fat from good source of protein. Okay, non-hormone filled, non-estrogen and progesterone filled beef, chicken, animal fat is actually good for you and will lower inflammation levels as long as it comes from a good source. So we want to lower inflammation by eating a good source of protein. We want to hold our long-term energy with a good source of protein. Then we want to put in complex carbohydrates. Game day during the week after practice. During the game, we can also talk about putting in some complex carbohydrates with a complex carbohydrate drink. We're drinking water, but then in between periods, you might have some water bottles filled with complex carbohydrate drink where the guys are drinking in between periods. Then between the ice cut, at this point we're ice cutting once, you go into the locker room. As you get older, you're going into the locker room before, after each period. But right now, when you hit the locker room, maybe we have a great bar that has proper amount of protein, fats, and carbohydrates that the guys are eating in between the period to keep their nutritional level, their sugar level, their inflammation down, their sugar levels low, and their energy level up. So there's multiple ways we can do this. So let me give you just a little example of what game day might look like. So we're going to do, let's say we have a game in the later part of the afternoon to make it simple. And you got to kind of toy with this. And we do this with our own son based on game day. So let's just say we got a game in the afternoon. We're going to have a full breakfast. Okay. We're going to have eggs, full eggs, the whole egg. The whole cholesterol thing is a myth. The yellow in that is super healthy for you. You need cholesterol to make hormones. If your boys are growing and you're a boy in hockey or you're a girl in hockey, you need the yolk, you need the cholesterol to make testosterone. Yes, even females need it, okay? That's what keeps your energy going as well. That's what makes your muscles stronger, testosterone. So the cholesterol in the egg actually is a precursor to testosterone, to estrogen, to all the hormones you need. So we're going to have a full breakfast. We're going to have the complete egg, scrambled, sunny side, whatever. And then you're going to have a meat, bacon. You're going to have sausage, ham. You're going to have a meat. So now we've got a good source of protein, and you're going to have a little bit of animal fat, probably in the bacon, which is going to help you out as well. You're going to have a good complex carbohydrate. You'll see, my kid with broccoli, peppers, spinach, all in an omelet or on his plate, okay, because that's going to slow burn as far as carbs are concerned. Then we're going to have a good fat. We're going to have an avocado. We'll always ask for an avocado wherever we are to put on somebody's plate. If they don't have it, you have guacamole. If they don't have that, okay, can we take some extra olive oil and maybe put it on the vegetables? So olive oil. So you're either going to do olive oil on your vegetables. If they don't have that, then you're gonna ask to be cooked in olive oil, the vegetables in the omelet. So now you're getting that good fat. Okay, so you're gonna have guacamole, avocado, cook with coconut oil, cook with oil. Okay, like I said, if you can't find guacamole, avocado, you're gonna do olive oil. Okay, and then we're gonna have water. Okay, we're not gonna have any fruit juices because I will tell you that 99% of all the fruit juices that you'll see at the hotel are filled with sugar. Simple sugars. So we're going to do water with lemon. Why water with lemon? Because we do want to drink lots of water because you're going to be burning energy. And not only are you going to be burning, but you're going to make something called lactic acid in your muscles. For you hockey players, that's the burn you feel, the exhaustion you feel at the end of your shift. That's lactic acid. The more water you drink, the quicker you're going to get that lactic acid out. The longer shift you can have without the burn, you'll feel it closer to the end. But not only that, you won't feel as much during the game. You'll be flushing out that lactic acid. You'll have less source and you'll recover quicker. So we're going to do water with lemon in it. Okay. Lemon is going to help make your body more alkaline, which will reduce inflammation and help flush out the lactic acid. Okay. So that would be breakfast. You're going to do a full breakfast. Okay. Now the body's starting to balance out. Blood sugar is level. Blood sugar is normal. Your kid's feeling good. About an hour to 2 hours before the game, you can do a shake. Coconut milk, almond milk, and then a shake that has a great balance of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. You do a shake about an hour or two before the game, maybe right before you guys start your warm-ups. Everyone does a shake that's pre-made. You do the shake, and now we're into warm-ups. So we have not dropped energy at all. Okay, from breakfast to now warm-ups, we got energy. We're feeling strong, and we have energy, okay? So you do a shake or maybe a balanced bar an hour before. Okay. And then in between periods, we're drinking water the whole game. And then in between periods, boom, we get a spark of a complex carbohydrate drink with low sugars that are bad sugars, but high complex carbs so that during that period, you're burning. You got energy in the form of complex sugars that you're burning and using on the bench. And then you jump off and you short burst in your shift and you get that burst. So now we're drinking complex carbohydrate drink in between periods. Okay. Then you do that ice cut. And now maybe we get another bar in, okay, because we have some time in between the ice cut. As you get older, it's going to get longer. So you can do a either another shake, or if you don't want the liquid because you're drinking tons of liquid, you can do a bar, complex bar that's got protein, carbs, and good fats to keep your energy going strong. And then you want to do an after game recovery meal. Again, we don't want to go to certain restaurants if we're on the road that are going to provide you with fat or pasta, or I know it's we're thinking outside the box here. Most guys want to have pasta and things like that, but they're simple sugars. What can you have instead? You don't want to do any fried or wings or things like that because we're thinking high performance now, right? If you don't want to get to the next level, then you go have your wings and you go have fried food. But if you have a goal in mind, you want to get to the next level, sacrifice and discipline is all part of this. It's what we teach in my household. Okay, if I want to be great for my patients for 17 years and I want to be paid like a professional and I want them to get the results, then I'm going to have to sacrifice somewhere. Okay, you're going to have to sacrifice. So you're going to have to do a great protein, a great carbohydrate, and a great fat at dinner. It means no lemonade, no root beer, it means none of that stuff. Except if you don't have a morning game, we'll do this. Okay, we will say, okay, we played a great game today. You had tons of energy. Your next game tomorrow is in the late afternoon or it's in the evening. You can get a soft drink. We'll put dessert on the table. But I'll be honest with you, my own 15-year-old, my own kids, they love dessert, but my own 15-year-old, when he's in game mode, he might either not have it at all, or he might take just a spoonful and he's done because he knows what it takes. So you can, if the game is in the next day in the afternoon or evening, you can do a spoonful of ice cream, do a spoonful of cake, have a dessert spoonful, or pass on it. If a game is in the morning, that ain't happening, okay? It's high level quality protein, carbohydrates, and fats as well. So what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're doing to recover, to play strong, all plays into your mental performance and where you want to go at this point. I want to finish up with two different things. There are some supplements that I want to talk about that we've used in my household for years and that we have used with our son, especially during season. And one of them is called omega-3 fatty acid fish oils. We do omega-3 fatty acid fish oils. They are a good source of omega-3 fats, which again reduces inflammation. That means you're going to heal quicker, you're going to have less injury, and it helps produce the immune system cells, which help recover quicker. So we do fish oils during all year long, but we will heavy the dose during hockey season. Dosage I'm not going to talk about now. It's individual. We can talk about it some other point. But omega-3 fish oils. I will say this. Be very careful where you get your fish oils from because the fishing industry has mercury in it, and you could be putting mercury into yourself and your child, which is poison. So you do not want a poor, cheap fish oil. Doesn't have to be expensive, but you don't want it to be cheap. Cold Norwegian deep fish, highly purified cold deep Norwegian fish, highly purified. Okay, it's got to be the key. If it doesn't say highly purified, if it's not deep cold water Norwegian fish, you are potentially poisoning yourself and your child. Please don't do that. You can ask me when you see me, or you can send me an email, what we use and things like that. Second product we like to use called chlorella. Chlorella is a green algae. It's sunlight, it's water. It's a green algae. We've been using it for a long time. Chlorella is a green algae, and what chlorella does is help your body become more alkaline. Research has found the more acidic your body tissue is, the more inflammation, the more virus, bacteria, and cancers you'll have. The more alkaline your system is, the less inflammation, the less you will be sick. The less inflammation, the less you'll hurt during and after a game, the quicker you recover. Chlorella also does something major that we use for our son, the hockey player, is it helps reduce lactic acid in the muscles very quickly. So it allows you to be on your shift longer and not feel the burn till the end. Get back onto your next shift because it helps flush out lactic acid with water a lot quicker, which is super important for guys and girls who have that short burst of energy. Back and forth, 30 to 45 seconds. It's super important to get that lactic acid out. We use chlorella, which is a green algae. Again, sunlight and water. It's capsule form. You have to be careful as well. There's two types. There's Vulgaris, which think of the word vulgar, which is the cheaper brand, not very good. Vulgaris is a type that's not very good. Pyrenosa is the type that you want. It's a higher quality. You can either email me, I'll give you my email address, or you can see me at the rink. We can talk about that. And the last one is vitamin D. Vitamin D is responsible for helping your body naturally produce over 200 natural antibiotics, natural antivirals. The season is long. Season is long. There's a lot of us that are traveling. Our kids, for example, don't get home until after 11 o'clock at night, two to 3 days a week from practice. It's a long season. So you want to take care of the immune system. Eating the way I shared with you is not only going to help energy-wise, but you're going to see your child less colds, less flus, because eating that way will boost the immune system. But also vitamin D is super important in my household, especially in hockey areas where there's less sunlight and you're leaving early and coming home late, you're working hard through the season. Vitamin D is super important for producing over 200 natural antibiotics, natural antivirals to help your child's immune system stay strong so he can recover or she can recover quicker. So those are some of the supplements I'll recommend. And I'm going to finish up. Last point I want to talk about is the physical side of high performance output, especially in sports. And this is my shameless plug for chiropractic. My kids have all been adjusted since birth. Those that are on the team, the 15U team, are starting to get adjusted, have seen me adjust my son. I'll pull my table out. We've been doing this since birth. There are multiple reasons why. The main reason as far as sports is concerned and hockey is a couple. Number one, you look at race cars. When race cars turn and turn and turn, they wear down tires on one side. Do they continue to go the race? No, because their performance starts to slow. So they pit stop. They find out where there's wear and tear. They change the tires, and then their performance improves. When your child is playing hockey, it's physical. There's going to be physical hits and dings, and the alignment of their hips, their spine, their shoulders, their knees, their elbows, their neck, it's going to shift out of alignment, and their performance is going to start slipping, just like the performance of a car. So we put our child, and maybe yours, in alignment so that their output is much better. So as they're in alignment, just like a race car, they're going to perform better because in alignment performs better, number one. Number two, okay, research shows that when you get a chiropractic adjustment, especially in the neck, it improves hand-eye coordination and hand-foot coordination. I would think that as a hockey player, guy or girl, hand-eye coordination is important, hand-foot coordination is important. So the second reason we adjust our child is to improve their hand-eye, hand-foot coordination, because that is exactly what hockey is all about. And the third reason is because there are almost every professional hockey team in the NHL has a chiropractor on staff. As a matter of fact, the most widely known NHL star to use chiropractic is Sidney Crosby. He had injury, concussions, no neurologist, no orthopedic was able to help him out. He saw a chiropractor, and as a result of that chiropractic, he's back on the ice. So if it's good enough for Sidney Crosby and good enough for every pro team, I think it's good enough for my child, your child. If you're in juniors, college, or the pros and you're not using one, listen, get adjusted. You'll prevent injury. You'll stay in alignment for better performance, and you'll have better output with your hand-eye, hand-foot coordination. Now, if you would like to get a hold of me and ask questions, please do feel free. My email is healthmatters1280@yahoo.com. 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 Or you can go to my website, drjeffgarofalo.com. DRJEFFGAROFALO.com. I'm Dr. Jeff Garofalo, a 17-year high-performance chiropractor veteran, taking care of people, educating people, hoping that we can help our output so that as we get to the middle end of the season, when other teams are starting to dive, we'll be on the rise. Again, email me, healthmatters1280@yahoo.com. Contact me, drjeffgarofalo.com. I'm here for you. Guys, thanks for tuning in.